All right, I'm going to show you some of the new generic actions, various options that I've just made about range limitations. Um, Essentially, down here at range limits, advantage, disadvantages applied, turned on. That's what you would need to have those work. You'd also have to have the verify attack and the verify power save to be able to handle attacks and saving throws with that, because it's all tied together so that you can turn it off with these restart app ones if you have any conflicts, and it turns off a whole bunch of registered functions. I also have a new fumble crit table that basically will allow you to do types of customized fumble tables, which I've used for my starships here and for individual custom players because they each had a different race, so I could do that. So these are the options I've set. I'll assume you looked at them. This is the map I'm going to use right now. First, I'm going to show you what happens when, say, a laser cannon is fired from this range, and as you can see, it's got a range 300 to 600, which means 300 to 600 is disadvantage. Below 300 is normal shot, unless you're within 5 feet, in which case it'll give you disadvantage. In these large maps, that'll never happen because the squares are like 50 feet. But in normal people maps, that'll definitely come into play. If it's longer than 600, it's going to be obviously out of range. So right now for a laser cannon from this, it's 800. So I'm expecting, if it's working, which it is, that this attack is going to fail. Now, for attacks, the dice has to roll just because of the way FGU code works. And I'm not going to rewrite all that. But as you can see, it's out of range for the weapon. And that's 800. Now, this works obviously for any person weapons, which I'll show you. And I'm just using my SW5E game that I've got for my players and what I had in the last session as an example. So that's an example of out of range. This guy here is within 600 for his, fighter 10. So for his laser cannon, that's from 450 to 900. So 600 is in the disadvantage range, so I would assume, yep, disadvantage. And it tells you, it says disadvantage range for weapons laser cannon, 450 to 900. It's determining all these things by extracting out the role's description. Like you see here, it says attack R, laser cannon, disadvantage, drop 20. Well, I'll intercept that laser cannon message here, and I'll strip out the word laser cannon and match it to the inventory on a PC, or the powers on a PC if it's a spell for like a saving throw or a spell attack. And on an NPC, which these all are, it'll strip it out and compare it to their inventories and their actions and their spells. And the first one that it finds a match on, that's where it's going to look for the range. And if it'll search through them all until it finds a range or doesn't. But all you have to know is you don't really have to know anything. If it's turned on, it'll just handle any advantage rolls on the 5-foot roll, any advantage rolls in the range roll, and anything over it'll prevent from happening. And that's across the board. So let's say I do, concussion. What's the range on a concussion here? Range on a concussion is 600 to 1200. And on this guy, his proton torpedo is 900 to 1800. So I'm going to have to bring this out quite a bit. I'll just show you it working first. The saving throw for the concussion missile, which is just a saving throw, as you can see, it's a range of 850, which is in that gap, and that's going to be a disadvantage, which for a saving throw means it's going to be advantage because it's actually the target that's rolling that. In an attack, it's the source rolling that. But in a target, it's the target rolling the saving throw. So it's the opposite. So a disadvantage at that range really translates into a saving throw advantage, and an attack disadvantage. I'll let you figure it out. I've said what it is. And I'm just giving you details. Again, you don't have to know anything. You just roll and let it happen and don't worry about it. It'll either let you do the roll, or it will put disadvantage on it, or it'll just do it normally. You don't have to know any of this. I'm just telling you so you know what's happening. And the elite warrior here, we'll go ahead and let him target Zip here. And at 30 feet, his slug thrower is going to be normal, right? Because it's within 100 feet. If he goes back out to 100 feet, let's say out to here, it's 105 feet. He does it, it's obviously going to be disadvantage, and it tells you why. Ravik has a lot of spells. So we're going to pick Ravik. We're going to have him go for this. Same guy. What's he got? Yeah, he's got a little vibro dagger here. And that's out of range, and it's telling you. And all these other things are working. And let's say we go down to affect mine. Now, saving throws, it can tell without rolling the dice because, for whatever reason, the saving throw roll is interceptable by me. So the affect mine is 0 to 30, and 85, and its syntax is slightly different on the range. I try and catch all the range syntaxes I can. This one is an attribute, actually, with 30 feet. So it's only got a high range. It'll still apply the 5-foot rule, like if he's within 5 feet of him and he does the same thing. It's going to be disadvantaged because it's a 5-foot rule. And that goes for weapons too, obviously.